Yo, yo, welcome to Live Q&A. My name's Carl. I'll be your host the most. I wish I had the most. But we're going to be covering off the Q&A. And I've been given strict instructions by the missus to hurry up. So, less of the polywaffle, straight into the disclaimer. So if you are listening in, give it a like. And if you're replaying, hit replay. And I hope you get the most out of this and enjoy. So, as we do, disclaimer, all information from Vitruvian Health and myself in regards to training, nutrition, and therapy is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to diagnose or treat any health condition and is not a replacement for treatment by a healthcare provider. If you have any concerns, please consult your local GP, or as I do, name drop Dr. Amy Mason, reach out to her at Winnie Chiropractics, or talk to Kathy, wellness health dietitian. So, with that being said, let's now go into questions. How do I prepare for warm-ups? As it's not in my program, but I'm told to do 20 reps before I start. Why is that? The reason we do 20 rep sets is because we want to get more blood into those areas of the muscle. So, to warm up the joints, it's the muscle going, like you get blood into your muscles. Hello, viewer, how are you? So, by warming up, doing that 20 reps, you're going to get blood into the muscle, lubricates the joints, and just greases the grooves. You might feel cracked and popping, you're like, oh, it feels tight and uncomfortable. Imagine doing that with your weight you're going to, say 100 kilos. So it's good to start with the bar, work the movement. Also, as a coach, it allows me to see if your nervous system is a bit run down or not. So ideally, your setup should be nice and quick, like boom, boom. If you're like, nervous system probably needs to be woken up. So things like burpees, ball throws, short bursts of intervals on the equipment can be really powerful to get that body going. Number two, because that's why we do warm-up sets. So you can do anything like banded dislocates, Jefferson curls, a whole bunch of movements, but if you're short on time, do the movement. The way I like to do is I do 20 reps with the bar or body weight, and then I'll go like 10, 5, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2 until I get close to that load that I'm going to lift for the max of the workout, whatever it is. So if I'm doing 5 by 5, I'll do 2s because it's quicker. Doing 5s can cook you a little bit. Keep doing by 2s, priming the nervous system. If I'm doing say 100 kilo back squat, I might prime to 105 or 110 to excite the nervous system for those 2 reps, and then drop it back to 100 because then that feels easier. That's how I warm up. Gluten-free rice. Why? Rice is gluten-free. There is a product called gelatinous rice. Some people mistake it for gluten rice. It just really absorbs water, so it's really gelatinous. You'll find that there are packages of rice that won't say gluten-free. It's more than likely that it's made in a factory that makes bread or wheat products. And if there's particles of wheat or gluten in the space, they can't technically classify it as gluten-free. So I think it's got to be 0.00001 normal traces not there. So that's why rice is gluten-free. That's why they won't recommend it on packaging, because there's a standard in Australia which is higher than others. Breads, how do you think of it? I think very highly of it. Probably the question is, with regards to bread and gluten-free, what do you do? So gluten-free bread, it's come a long way in the last 10 years. I remember when I started giving it a go when I was like 12, pumpernickel bread. Ugh. If you couldn't toast that bad boy enough, and it still tastes terrible. It'd be like eating this table that this computer's on, like butter, jams, nothing. Just why would anyone do that? But if you're celiac and you want to have toast, that's what you got. So yeah, but when it comes to bread, sourdough, soy linseed, it's quite good. If someone wants to reduce their gluten intake, then you can go for those more wholesome sourdough loaves. And it's really, like back in the day, I used to think it was like go gluten-free completely, like gluten's the devil, but it's just people have an intolerance. So everyone has a threshold. So for me, when I eat a lot of it, I get quite like erratic emotionally. So for my partner's sake and for my clients and the people I work with, it's better that I just don't do it. I can do like slice of sourdough because the gluten's quite low in it because it's cooked and pre-made over a long period of time. So the gluten, the protein peptide, with the yeast kind of gets eaten up, a lot of it, where other breads that are kind of rushed in their process, because it's all about manufacturing, the more you can make, the more money you make. So if it takes 5 hours to 10 hours to wait for it, well then that's time you can be making money. So in the company sense, why would I do that? Make it, bake it, sell it. So speed and efficiency. So that's why you'll see a lot of those sourdoughs cost a lot more. Plus, if you really wanted to get it for a longer period of time, you're paying like 15, 20 bucks a bread. No one's gonna pay that much. Well, technically when you go to a cafe, you are, but okay. Why passive hangs? Why not? Number one, the purpose of passive hangs is to dequat the spine. So it creates a lengthening elongation. It helps to open up the shoulders, the hips. You can get all the massage you want, but hanging is a great tool to just stretch and open you up. It's great also because it's, hello person, how are you? Do you do hangs? The other purpose of the hang is it's going to work grip strength. 2, it's going to open up the joints, but strengthen them. It's a weighted mobility tool. So you're strengthening whilst creating length through your body. Plus the amount, we've done 15,000 consults in 10 years. Like me and then collective as a team. You should probably look at the numbers currently because we've done about 100 in the last month. But we haven't had a single person pass a level 4 hang this month. But I've had, I think, from memory, probably 10 people. Last person was like Michael, who trained with us like 18 months ago. He did a level 4 hang. So passive hang, we actually had to have a level 1 or level 0. It's where you grab onto a bar and you actually have your feet on the floor. It's called an assisted hang. Most people actually start there and they can't hold for 60 seconds. Their forearm gets shot. So if we can strengthen the muscles of the forearm, it actually will help improve the posture. And also if your forearm is stronger, this doesn't get pulled forward and your shoulders get pulled forward. If that's stronger, it's easier to position our shoulders. So here, we have assisted, level 0. Level 1, hanging with your feet off the floor. Level 2, holding an active hang where you depress the scaps and you hold that for 60 seconds. 3 is doing scapular pull-up, being able to move through the movement. Then 4 is to go supinated because you get a bit tight through the forearms. And then 5, pull yourself up and actually hold for 60 seconds. We do knee tucks there as well, but to hold the active hang with the knee tuck to work the abdomen. So that's 4, 5 straight legs, and then you relax that. Then you pull it up. Then you focus on the pull-up hold at the top, so you get more bicep and back. And then you progress the knee tuck, and then the legs straight out. So yeah, and then level 9, which technically is level 10 if you count the assisted hang as a level 1, is a 1-arm hang. But by that time, you've done a lot of work there. All right, breathing. When running, goes from deep belly to chest and traps. Usually because the diaphragm's having a hard time, but you've increased intensity and created a stress response in the body. So, yeah, sympathetic dominance. So stress state, that's where you're elevating cortisol. It's what you're doing in training when you're running. That will kick over and you use the traps. There's a nerve in the trap pulls on the diaphragm to assist with breathing. And also probably because you've been running for a long time that you've now started to just breathe through the traps. And that's the training and mechanics you've taken over. So you probably need to dial that back down and reset. Strategies to help with late night eating, snacks or plans. That's a great one, a great question, because a lot of people believe that you shouldn't eat late at night. It depends. Reason why don't recommend eating late at night is it increases core temperature. It puts more stress or load on the digestive system to break it down. 3, I'm so full. And you take your partner's pillow, so then you ruin her sleep. Yeah, happy partner, happy life. So yeah, don't do that. But affects digestion, increases core temperature, so then you don't get into deep sleep quick enough. So it prolongs the quality of sleep, and then you wake up feeling hungry and sluggish, which is not ideal. So, and to that, late night snacks, I typically recommend people you might say eat your last meal at 4 and then you're going to bed at 10, you've had a big day, and it's like, okay, well, I won't eat a steak. Because the thing is, If you eat a steak and potatoes, the thing is, you've got a lot of food in your gut. It's going to take a long time to break down, and that prolongs the catabolic window, so we kind of want that, but it's just to a point where you don't eat so much that affects how you feel when you're going to sleep. So you can eat a lot if you want, as long as it doesn't affect sleep. So if you're like, you eat a steak, you eat 700 grams of potato, veg, and you're like, great, an hour later, oh man, I feel well rested and great, then awesome, good. But if you feel like, man, I'm so tired and you will sleep, then probably not for you. Little thing you can do though with snacks is I've got gluten-free wheat bix, so I'll have 2 of those with pro yogurt. I've posted that on my Facebook, and check out the images if they're popping up next to me. Is you can use that as a little snack. Gluten-free wheat bix, they'll last 5-6 months, so they can stay in your cupboard. So if you do have a late night and you want to get something in your digestive tract, because the last time you ate was like 7-8 hours ago, that's something convenient you can have. Can do shakes, protein shakes. Some people do. I know that some people that do the like custards, they can get actually quite phlegmy, so that and that'll affect the sleep. So just being aware, it's trial and error for that one, finding what works for you. So for me, the gluten-free wheat bix have been pretty good. Bit of almond milk, and a bit of pro yogurt. Go for it. Pro yogurt's just a protein-based yogurt. So like 2 wheat bix is 3 grams of protein, 20 grams of carbs. With pro yogurt, which is 20 grams, 2 tablespoons of that, I'm probably getting 18. So I get about 20 grams of protein in that meal. So it's light, it's easy, good to go. Next question. Why do Hollywood people focus on getting fat and then train? Well, the most muscular people, number one, the most muscular person on the planet is a sumo wrestler. So the biggest, fattest people. Lugging around all that extra weight, actually, if you have an extra 5 kilos in your arm the whole time, you're actually doing more delt raise work. So you're going to create more hypertrophy. And then what will happen from there is you're naturally going to stimulate the mitochondria, so those endurance muscle fibers, which require a lot of reps to work. And so that'll actually signal some muscle growth. So they get fat, cramming all those calories, but then they've got these extra calories that the body can burn for hypertrophy reasons. And they're also training. It's just that the energy in versus the energy out is much higher for them. Plus, it makes people want to look at them more. It's like, wow, they got really fat and overweight. Well, actually, it's a rapid Hollywood transformation. Like so many of these people lose 10 kilos within a week. It's because they're eating so much sugar and crap that they end up dropping all this water weight. Like I've gone from 110 to 106.6 in a week. Oh my God, it's a miracle. It's because of his detox shake. Yeah, I'm actually eating more food, more nutrient-dense foods, and I am doing a shake that has a lot of nutrients in it. So I'm getting a lot more micronutrients, and I'm not less bloated, so there's less water retention. That's it. Deadlift bar. Why? Why not? In the deadlift, so when you do deadlifts, most bars are straight. So you pull on them nice and hard. The deadlift bar has a little bit of a bend in it, so you can actually feel like more tension and traction in your body, so you get tighter when lifting. Plus, I like having dedicated bars for exercises. Assisted pull-ups. What's the pin in or weight for? So when doing assisted pull-ups, when you go to a gym, hello next viewer, how are you? When you do pull-ups assisted, you'll find that there's a machine and there's a pin. And a lot of people get confused because some will say 12, some will say 26. If you're using a pin-loaded machine, don't stress so much about the weight. Just track it, log it, but just go more by feel. A lot of the time, you'd think in a 2023, all equipment would be standardized. It's not. So you've got like 4 plates, and some people put the 5 at the top, so then it's 12, 19, 26, and that's where the pin is. So you're doing 33 kilos. Some business owners go, I'll put the 5 here where the pin is, and then the 12. And then you're like, wow, this is only 12 kilos? What the hell's going on? Well, actually, it's just because the person that put the machine together put the stickers in the wrong place. So I tend to recommend go by feel. If you supplement with hang work, you'll get pretty strong within like a 12-week period. If you're interested in pull-ups, comment below, pull-up program, please, and I'll send you videos and pull-up program. And my goal is to get you 12 In 12 weeks, get your bodyweight pull-ups, because a lot of people are doing a lot of variations and not seeing the progress that they want. And it's simply like hang, scat work, lat pull downs, press work, build the compounds, and you'll be able to do pull-ups in 12 weeks. Shout out to Amy Mason, who got her pull-ups the week before her wedding, following that method. So yeah. So a lot of the machines, unfortunately, in a lot of gyms are miscalibrated because they were given stickers and they just went cheapy, right? So yeah, go build my fuel on those ones. Why 2 different leg press machines? So in most gyms, you'll have a pin-loaded and a plate-loaded leg press machine. Pin-loaded maintains constant tension on the movement, and usually the pins, you'll see the bottom position of the press, and so you push up, and you push up into a concentric phase. Naturally in a movement, the 2 phases are concentric, eccentric. We are weaker in the concentric phase and stronger in the eccentric phase. The second one is a plate-loaded, and it works more on a strength curve, and it has a positional place where you're weaker, which is usually at the bottom. So it's like, but Carl, if I'm weaker at the bottom in the pin loaded and plate loaded, shouldn't I lift the same weight? You'll probably find you can lift twice as much in a plate loaded, because we have that eccentric position. We start at the top, we go into a stretch, and then we push up. So we actually get tension on the muscle tissue, like an elastic band, and we can pop it. Not pop the hip, but like we let it go and it goes, and we've got more momentum and power when we leg press. The way to summarize is pin loaded machines, constant tension on them. Plate loaded, there's like a strength curve and there's a position where we have a weak point. So we can naturally lift a bit heavier because we can go through it. And sometimes we can use the momentum to get through that sticking point. Next question, is it okay to work out every day, or do I need to take breaks in between? I recommend you can take, just depends. Like everyone can train, you can technically train 7 days a week. Mentally, I personally believe that if you had 1 day of rest, you could go hard for 6 days knowing that you have 1 day to rest. But the thing is, like, you'll still move and do stuff. It's not like, you know, your alarm will go off and you're like, it's fat, I call it fat cat day. Fat cat Sundays, you know, cats just lays about tail. So unless you do that, but I doubt that anyone's going to be doing that. You'll find, you know, you wake up, you're just not focused on training. You might go for a longer walk, you might go for a swim, but if there's no dedicated training day, you can definitely do that for it. I find strength training, I tend to do myself for 4 days, because 4 days, because then I have 2 days where I'm not training. I can actually spend more time focusing on business. So it's to its own. How can I incorporate more variety into my workouts? Hire a trainer, www.vitruvianhealth.com.au, and the team will help you out. Yeah, my personal belief, get a trainer, get a coach, have someone do it for you, because a lot of the time they'll program for the things that you need versus what you want. I like doing calves, and I hate doing, like, I enjoy doing the calves and the step ups and split squats, but I have to do them. And so I haven't been squatting for a while. I've just been working on that to work on my joint mobility. Yeah, Coach Carl sucks. Just give me what I want. You can also, when looking at a program, if you're doing barbell bench press, change it to dumbbell. Make one change. It's funny, I was just talking to a client about this 30 minutes ago, how I program. It's look at what you're doing, make 1 or 2 changes. So if you're doing push-ups, okay, I'm doing this, what would that look like? Bench press, dumbbell press, chest press, pin-loaded chest press. Okay, I'll do that. Or I'll do that instead, so do handstand push-ups. Probably don't recommend that, but that's an example. So you just look at what you're doing and you make 1 to 2 changes. What are some good exercises for toning specific body parts, like my abs and my arms? There is no good exercise when it comes to tone from 2 perspectives. 1, usually when you talk about toning, you're talking about decreasing the fat mass and keeping the muscle as it is. So that means 2, it's diet. But if you're talking about shaping the muscle more, then training those areas specifically. Abdominals, I tend not to recommend, because a lot of time it's creating a thickening of the wall lining. You can do like hover holds, brace work, lifting weights. That's going to do that. And then arms, tricep extensions, bicep curls, superset methods, overload method. Supersets where you do bicep and tricep. Overload is where you do tricep or like bench press and then tricep. So overloading that muscle. And just over time, it will come, as long as you're in a calorie deficit over time and sleeping really well. Should I be using weights or just relying on bodyweight exercises? Bodyweight's really good. In bodyweight world, we measure in millimeters and seconds or reps. In the weight world, we just add an element where we add weight, and it's easy to like look at the metric, because if you do 10 push-ups and you weigh 100 kilos and then you do 11 push-ups, you've added an extra 100 kilos. But if we're doing bench press for 50 kilos for 10 reps, that's a total of 500 kilos versus the push-ups is 1,000, and you add 1 kilo, it's now 51 kilos, right? So then it's 510. That's a 10% increase. It's more manageable, like you're going up in smaller percentages, so you can hit more progress. Sometimes a lot of the time with body weight, people beat themselves up like, man, I should have done an extra rep. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Usually the 1% rule is you increase by 1% in load or 1 rep. That's usually what we aim for in a perfect role, which you should do if you're getting, managing your stress and getting good sleep. And how can I increase the intensity of my workouts? Increase sets, reps, load, tempo, or decrease the rest. Maintaining physical fitness requires major lifestyle changes, true or false? False. One change at a time. If you don't drink, we had one lady who didn't drink water. She used to drink kombucha, and then she started drinking water. She lost 4 kilos in 2 weeks. So it can seem like a big thing, but it will impact. A desirable level of fitness can be achieved through a little as how many workouts? We recommend 2 to 3, up to 4. Builds that consistency and habit. 3 to 4 is like the perfect number for us, because you've got that rate of recovery and adaptability, which is about a 72-hour window. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 48 hours Saturday, Sunday, so you don't train, and then repeat. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which actually we're launching a new satellite semi-private program coming soon to our training Sydney City facilities. So keep your eyes peeled. Why do we need to warm up before exercise? To prime the body, warm up the nervous system, lubricate the joints, minimize risk of injury, and just assess where you're at. Does muscle burn calories even when the body's resting? Oh yeah, and that's why I like to eat food, and that's why I train. So I burn fat and energy whilst I am resting. So that's our Q&A. Check the viewer, no comments. Say hello if you want. Live chat. All messages are visible. Excellent. Very good. Successfully connected. Okay, I think it was disconnected. So I do apologize if the viewer commented, but I hope you have a lovely day. Anyone tuning in, I hope you have an amazing day and week. Until next time, adios, amigos.